Okay guys, I don't think I've ever shown this, and I have to do it. It's been about a month since I've turned the machine on. I've been busy with the new building and a lot of things for my day job. So I'm not sure it's been exactly a month, but it's been about something like that. It feels like it at least. Alright, so first thing you do is power the main power on. Okay, my screen protectors are pretty dirty here. Alright, so this computer's coming up. Sometimes, yeah, I'm not sure why that video cuts off like that. It doesn't seem to bother anything. It'll power up. Now, I've turned the machine on before and it doesn't have any problems. I think they have enough safety things in place, but basically it's to ensure that the controller's up, sending, you know, a good signal out to the machine, so the machine doesn't run off and hit something. Alright, now that the machine's up, we're going to come back over and you know, actually start the lathe. Okay, now that our machine's up, we can just hit the start button here. This computer light's supposed to light up red. Oh wait, there's some kind of misconnection in there for both the computer and the light. I mean the computer and the machine. But once the computer up, you hit start. This actually brings the lathe up. I have to get in there and find out what's up with these little connections. Okay, my warm-up process is designed for not having a chuck in it, so first thing I got to do before running that is pull this chuck off. I need the chuck off for the job anyway, so it's not a big deal. It's really to get off, easy to get off. Alright, so I'd been asked before what coolant I use, and I believe I've said before, it's Mobile Cut 1. You know, I ran this machine last time, shut it off, didn't clean anything, didn't oil anything, didn't spray anything down for rust, and you can see that looks like junk, but it's actually just oil. So it's a water-soluble oil. It mixes 5 to 1. It looks like any old like motor oil. Once you mix with water, 1 part oil, 5 parts water, it becomes that milky consistency. I mix it a little less than that, or a little more oil to that, just because I'd rather waste a little bit of oil than have my machine rust up on me. These are a little oily. We're going to start the oiling process when we do the warm-up, but I wanted to show that I really like this stuff. It keeps everything, you know, clean, and you know, the bottom is covered in oil, and this has been sitting for a while, so it's not really covered in oil. But it gets pretty covered, like to your fingers, you know, for a while. But it obviously keeps the rust off and everything. I obviously need to make this longer for some parts because this is starting to get all banged up. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point. All right, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start showing you my my warm-up process. Okay, first thing we do here is this is my auto oiler for the ways. I'm just gonna go ahead and let it pump it for a minute here to get some oil on there. I'm not sure how long. I'll get a little bit more. Make sure you get oil down onto the ways, and then we'll go ahead and move over to the PC here. Okay, here is the Mobile Cut that I use. Like I said, this machine's been sitting about a month or so, so I turned on the coolant, and after a few minutes it wasn't enough. So let me see how I'm gonna get this on camera. Alright, this probably isn't the best way to do it, but I already know that the coolant in there is fine, and when I pour this through, everything will mix up, and I'll run the coolant a while just so it can kind of mix. But it's just like a light honey motor oil consistency. And this is a little bit less than a quart, and I'm going to put about, I don't know, 3 or 4 gallons in here of water. This water is already going to be kind of milky looking just because there's a little bit of oil that made it in here. But it'll be way darker than that. So I'm going to pour this water in. I don't know if you can see the oil on the bottom that's separating from the water. That's whey oil. I've got a tramp filter down in the pan that's supposed to collect keep that stuff separated. Alright, so that consistency should be pretty good. I'll go ahead and run this straight down into the coolant tank for a while. Make sure it all gets mixed up. Alright, I'll let that run for a few minutes and then we'll get started on the warm-up. Okay guys, here is the warm-up file that I have. It's pretty simple. I tried to keep it basic, but basically I switched to a tool that there's no tool, but it doesn't matter as long as you check your distances here. The important thing to note is I switched to G95, so we'll go ahead and start that. Let's do that. We're already on G95, but you just type in an offset, whatever you want it to be. I mean, yeah, work offset. So I'm going to set G95. I reference my Z. It's already been done. We're going to do it anyway. Okay, we'll reference the X. Yep. Alright, and I've already done this as well, but you'd set your X and your Z as 0 here, which is way top right, stops. And then, if you're going to use this code, check your links first by manually moving, but I go 19 inches, down on the X and 9.5 inches negative on the Z. And that'll bring me within where nothing will hit on my spindle or with tool 5 set. And then that's basically what it does. It starts at 10 inches per minute at 180 RPMs, moves to 14, does a loop, goes to 300, 350, 15 inches a minute, 20 inches a minute. And it's basically just walking at an angle down here and back, just to use the full travel of the axis and get everything lubed up. Then I moved to 20, 500 RPMs, 25 inches a minute, 1000 RPMs, 30 inches a minute, 1500 RPMs, 40 inches a minute, and that's actually supposed to be 2000 RPMs, so we're gonna edit that. This one's supposed to be 2000 RPMs. Top speed I believe is 2500 for the collet. Chuck. Okay, so I'm gonna run my oil-based coolant over my ways. I really don't trust the auto oiler on here. I see all kind of oil that leaks down in between here, but my ways are completely dry when it comes across. So I'm not sure if it's the little wipers or what, but I trust that the oil in here will keep me lubricated enough, and that'll take care of everything. Now, this glass is pretty scratched up over the last year. I hope you can see well. We're going to go ahead and run the warm-up code I just showed you. This is going to have to be run in fast mode because it takes probably over 10 minutes to run this.
Perfect.